The conference kicked off last night with introductions and giving the candidates kind of a lowdown on what's going to happen all weekend. Today's Saturday morning. The candidates got their assignments for who they're going to be interviewing with, correct? When did that happen?
So on Wednesday, we uploaded into their candidate portal information on every company that they're going to be interviewing with. We would love to get them the interview schedule, the job descriptions, everything by Wednesday if we could. This conference specific is a great example of why we wait till Friday. We were adding companies.
Yeah.
Even on Wednesday and Thursday, and then recruiters were changing. There were locations even changing, even up to 5 o'clock last night. So last night there was introductions with everybody. There's a session on just like the right strategy and approach to the conference, and we break. Then that's when they get the full interview schedule. They get the job descriptions and all that information. And those job descriptions have a little background of the company, has a full description of the position. It lists where the job's going to be located, how much they're going to get paid, those types of things. So
and who they're going to interview with,
and the recruiters that they're going to meet with as well.
So it's right now. It's Saturday morning. Saturday and Sunday are what you guys call company briefings. You do those pretty much all day. So what is that for the candidate?
Sure. So every candidate will get a 30-minute briefing on every interview that they're going to have. And in that briefing, we break down industry, company, career field, or the job that they're specifically interviewing for. But we also talk about who they're interviewing with. A lot of times we'll know who they're interviewing with. They've either been to a conference before, or maybe they're an alumni of Cameron Brooks or alumnus of Cameron Brooks. And so what we're trying to do is really help every candidate create a unique game plan for each of the interviews they're going to have. I think the average number of interviews at this conference is almost 11. And so to prepare for 11 interviews in 2 days, we're really trying to give them the information that they can use to create 11 or so, whatever the number is, solid game plans for the interviewing.
And the studying piece is they're trying to understand what makes this company unique and what makes this position unique, and what does the position need from them to be successful, and what can they bring to the job, to the role, to the organization to be successful. And there's successful interviewing, especially when you're going from military to business, is about how do I understand what's happening in business? How do I take my background that probably doesn't have a one-to-one correlation of what I've done, infantry officer, armor officer to salesperson, that I can relate that back to that role. And then what kinds of questions can I ask? What am I curious about? Because a successful interview really comes down to 3 things. Number 1, being likable, being approachable, likable. A company likes being around you, being with you. And number 2, can you bring value? And number 3 is, are you interested in doing that? And so that's what the purpose of the study. The briefing that Pete just mentioned is designed to take what would take somebody probably days and condense it down to 30 minutes. And they can walk out of there, go back and take all that information and change that up.
And prepare. Prepare for each interview.
But I want to come back because it's not just company briefings. There are a couple other big briefing presentations that we also do. Chuck is doing one right now on these are the main career fields and the career tracks that you can go into in business, because this point of this conference is the power of comparison. Yes, you want to come out with options and interviewing, but it's also here are the options that you're going to be interviewing with. Here's kind of the paths that you can go into so that they can do 2 things. Number 1, they can start thinking how to connect their backgrounds before they get to the briefings. And then number 2, they can start understanding these roles and positions better.
Yeah. Okay, one last question though. Are these all companies that we've all heard of?
So there are definitely companies that officers have heard of before, but the interesting thing, I've been here for about 10 years, and every single conference, and all the time that I've been here, I've learned about a new company that I hadn't heard of previously. So, and I think one of the main reasons is in corporate America, most companies serve other companies. Of course, we know companies, big name companies that serve the consumer, like the consumer. But most companies in corporate America provide products and services to other businesses that don't necessarily cater directly to the consumer. So a lot of exciting things, because there's big companies, small companies, international companies, US-based companies, privately held companies, publicly held companies. So there's just so such a neat diversity in the amount and types of companies that officers engage with.
You know, to give you an example, we have this consulting firm that's here that I'm quite sure nobody's ever heard of before. But if you were working as a engineer or ran a refinery or had a big leadership role at a refinery, a petrochemical complex, or big manufacturing facility that was related to the energy industry, you would know about this company.
Yeah.
But if you're serving in the military or even, I hadn't heard of the company until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I guarantee, based on watching the videos and learning more about the company, they had videos of major energy leadership people talking about what this company does for them in consulting.
Yeah.
So if you play in that industry, you know about that company, but I'm not involved in that industry. Until they contacted us, I'd never heard of them before.
Yeah.
One of the phrases we use around here is A-tier companies. And just because I or Joel or anyone's ever heard of a company doesn't mean they're A-tier. What he's describing is this company that he's describing, this consulting firm in this industry. Again, if you were in the industry, you would know it. That is one of the, not the only, but one of the criteria of an A-tier company that's leading in their industry.
Yeah, and I've heard you guys say before that a lot of the candidates say, man, I never even heard of that company before, but after I came out of that interview and learned about the company, like, yeah. All right.
And there's even career tracks too. It's interesting. We have this company that just does technology sales. Everybody's heard of them. And so they're actually recruiting for a sales role. That would make sense. Everybody's like, okay, that makes sense. They have technology, they're selling this to other companies. But there's this other category or type of role that is called the pre-sales team.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? They're doing all of the ahead of time, the intelligence and the information gathering of what is their potential client using and doing, what is their need, what is the technology that we have, and how can we deliver that? So I didn't even think of like, oh gosh, yeah, there's a whole department in this company that does that.
Well, I know I've even sat in some of the briefings and I'm like, man, I didn't know that about, in briefings of companies that I've heard of, and I'm like, man, it's so much deeper than I even knew.
One of the things too, two or three conferences ago, same company he's describing, so he's describing more of an upstream pre-sale preparation, and then there's a sales prep, and then a couple of conferences ago, remember we had that integration manager.
Yeah, there's even another group that does the delivery of the installation of the product.
Yeah.
So it's just there's so many options. There's just so much available.
Yeah. Well, good luck today, tomorrow. I'm sure we'll catch you guys another time this weekend. Thanks
Thanks, Trish.